Hello, my friends. Today is the day. Yes, we are going to be planting the first Supertunias for the 2025 growing season. Cannot wait. We are back here on the back patio. Of course, we did the prep just the other day, so if you missed that video, you can check out that link above. I'll have it in the video description for you because we did a lot of work on that day. We prepped the site for these Supertunias, and today we are going to go ahead and get them installed. I'm going to show you which ones we are doing, just give you a little heads up. Remember where we're going to be planting them. Of course, we are back here on the back patio, and we have these two, I guess you would call them raised beds that run the length of the perimeter kind of here at the patio. And so on this side, what you see is we have the Sprinter boxwoods and then the October Magic white shishi camellias. These are growing and they're thriving and they're doing wonderful, and I love it. They have been pruned for this season, and so we are ready to go ahead and install the petunias. Now, you will notice that my little section for my annuals is getting smaller and smaller. That is okay. I'm going to plant them basically right here on the edge so that, yes, they will go back some to the shrubs, but mainly coming across and kind of softening the wall here at the patio. Now, one area that we are not going to plant this year is this area right here. This little small bed has two David Austin roses. Yes, there's two. One is just planted just the other day, so she is right down there. It was a bare root rose. Both of them are Desdemona. So I decided that I wanted to have the same rose here. So we have two Desdemonas. Obviously, little sis has a lot of growing to do to get up with big sis. But we have also the Blue Chiffon Rose of Sharon. It's in kind of a standard form. And so when these really get going, there's very little room, and I want to have those roses really flesh out. So we're going to leave this blank this year. So that's just going to have the shrubs in it and not any annuals. If I decide to go back and change my mind, I can easily add them. One thing that I forgot to tell you is we have gardenias here on the end. This is the Diamond Spire from our friends at Southern Living. I am not pruning this. They need to be pruned, but we're not going to prune those today. Brenna's already gone for a swim. She went to the creek. Oh, Lord. It's going to be a day with this dog, I tell you. But gardenias, you do not prune those now, because if I were to prune it and shape it, I'm going to cut off all my flowers, and I do not want to do that. After they bloom, I will then go ahead and prune them. I've got my supplies here, Biotone, my sun hat, kneeling pad, water bottle, and a little trowel, because we're going to just hand dig these babies in. We're also going to go ahead and plant them underneath the lanterns right here. So that same petunia is going to go in and fill in this area underneath the lanterns around in front of the gardenias over here. Brenna has already made her way to Johnny, so she wants to show you which petunias we're going to be using. So they are back here. Probably one of my all-time favorites. This is my go-to because it is just a phenomenal plant. The Supertunia Mini Vista White. I have got 3 trays here. There's 15 in a tray. No, they're not in the branded Proven Winner pots because we are growing these specifically for our gardens. And so we didn't have to, we're not selling them, so they don't have to go in that branded pot. But y'all, look. Love Mini Vista White. Pure white flowers. I mean, just absolutely gorgeous. I have done this. Last year I did the Supertunia Saffron Finch. The year before that I did the Mini Vista White and just loved it. It has enough of the vigor so that we get the good coverage, but it's not crazy where I'm constantly having to prune it. So this is a fabulous one. I do love the Supertunia Mini Vista White for sure. Now, in that other video, what I did, I'm going to do this time to the lantern bed because we didn't touch the lantern bed, is we're going to amend the soil. I have switched over and I am now using the black gold. This is the Ultra Outdoor Planting Mix. It is a great combination of compost aged pine bark fines, tons of natural organic material. Y'all, this is wonderful to add that organic matter to your soil. Notice that it is OMRI listed organic. So if you're going to do vegetable gardening, herb gardening, and fruit trees, whatever it is that you're going to do, maybe some blackberry bushes or some blueberry bushes, and you want to use organic, certified organic material, then this is a great one to use it with. I was really converted. We've used black gold on and off for a little while, and last year up at the chicken coop, I used the outdoor mix for my annuals, and they performed phenomenal. I mean, they are great. I have clay soil. I'm constantly having to amend my soil because of that clay. It just needs lots of great organic material. Another great option, reason that we love using the Ultra Outdoor Mix is because it has that beautiful combination of that it drains well, but it holds water as well too. I know that sounds like an oxymoron, saying that it drains well, but yet it retains moisture, but it does. It retains the moisture so that those plant roots can really soak it up, but it's not soggy and nasty and compact and gross. Does that make any kind of sense? It works. That's all I know. And so we're going to use, I got 3 bags. I think 3 bags will be plenty, because every time when we do those annuals, we like to add that organic matter in there, because I've got my biotone. I will get that for my starter fertilizer. And then I grabbed, not that I'm going to use 2 of them, I just grabbed 2 because I like to have one on hand, is that Proven Winners, that continuous release plant food. So before we actually put the petunias in the ground, we'll of course have that great organic matter in there, the biotone, the slow release fertilizer. This fertilizer for me really lasts for about 3 months. It's released by temperature, and so it's like a little pellets, and so it's released by temperature every time you either water it or it rains. And so this is a great way to feed the plants when you don't do the water soluble fertilizer, because I am the world's worst on using water soluble fertilizer. But when you use great organic material and great slow release fertilizer in there, you don't have to use as much water soluble fertilizer. And then last but not least, we will top the whole entire bed with the Daddy Pete that soil conditioner, aged pine bark fines, and have a nice mulch top. Now, in that video the other day, we installed drip irrigation where these petunias are going to go. So what I'm going to do is turn the irrigation system on, let that make sure everything's working. Everything's going to be working, and then it is extremely dry. I don't know if y'all have been paying attention or if it's even made the news, but there are multiple wildfires in the mountains of North Carolina, South Carolina, just kind of all over the region really, because we have had such an extremely dry spring. It is very dry, and of course those areas that got hit with Helene, all that debris is down, so one little spark and these massive wildfires have taken hold, and so it is not a good thing for those folks in the Blue Ridge Mountains who were affected by the wildfires. So I need to make sure that when I put these new babies in, that soil is nice and damp and moist. The plants themselves are moist, but I want to make sure that irrigation is working, and that as I'm planting, it is getting that soil wet, so that way they don't miss a beat, because we are not going to get any rain. It looks like anytime soon. So I'm going to turn the irrigation on, get all my supplies over there, and then we're going to start planting. right, my friends, so we got the little section here at the lanterns. We got it all planted. So what I did, went ahead and laid down my ultra outdoor planting mix, and then I was like, oh, I can go ahead and lay irrigation right here because we have irrigation going through the flower bed. I just didn't have it in this little annual spot. So you can see where I tied into the black line right here. That's where it is. So there is a T. So all I did was go in and you cut the black line to get the dirt off here, cut the black line, put in a T, and then there you go. There is the drip tube right here. So it is running in here. I have it turned on so you can, yep, there we go. The air is still coming out of the lines, but it is on and it is running. So went ahead and planted the Supertunias. Now you'll notice that I covered everybody because what I'm going to do is now go get the Daddy Pete and top dress this. So cover everything. Now, because they are covered up, I don't have to worry about getting mulch on top of it. So once the Daddy Pete's down, then I can just lift them up and shake them and get the mulch nice and pretty in there. So that's a fun little tip. If your petunias are not too big and they can fit in there, there's one over there by the round lantern. She's sticking out a little bit, so we just have to be careful with her. So I'm gonna let this run, get the Daddy Pete on, and then we will do the patio area. Now friends, the Supertunias are in the ground. We planted about 42 of them. I know that because we had 3 trays of 15 and I had 3 left over, so we planted 42. Spaced them right at a foot apart because it made it really easy in the raised beds with that irrigation laid down. The drip is every 12 inches, so hey, makes it super simple, which is perfect spacing on those Mini Vista Whites because that's what Proven Winners recommends, between 12 to 18 inches. So with them being at 12 inches apart, they're going to kiss one another. They're going to have a nice, beautiful display. Not too thick, not too sparse. It should be just right. So I turned on the irrigation, of course, and everything was well. It worked really, really well. Got those holes wet, and so got them in the ground. Then I came back with that Daddy Pete to do that nice mulch. I did go ahead and do a little bit of watering to water in that Daddy Pete and to get that nice and moist because we are so incredibly dry. And so let's just go ahead and throw some water on it while we are planting so that the irrigation doesn't have to work overtime, because you know, other plants in this zone maybe not need as much water because they are established. So when you first plant those annuals, even if you have irrigation and you're not going to get rain, you know, really soon, go ahead and water them in. Water all that fresh soil, that mulch, everything, get them in. Y'all, it is going to be an absolutely stunning spring because before too long, so all 3 of the David Austins here that I have in front of these trellises, they are all shades of pink. So we have Scepter de Isle, which is a lovely, beautiful kind of soft baby doll pink. And I'm starting to see the very first buds. So she is putting on her first buds. Love this. This one has been here from the beginning. She's the only one besides Desdemona way down on the other end that has not been moved or transplanted or new. So we have Scepter to Isle. Then we have Gertrude Jekyll. Y'all, this thing is amazing. Like, it is stunning. It's a real hot pink, very vigorous, very happy rose. She is very, very thorny, but she too is putting on her first buds. Love, I mean, like, I see buds everywhere. Gorgeous. Jerry particularly loves this one because it's such a hot, hot pink. It's lovely. And then remember, we just moved Elizabeth. Elizabeth was down in the unique stone container down in the backyard bed. She got moved. She is very happy. I am very pleased with how she has flushed out. Trying to see, I don't know if I see a bud on her yet, but all that beautiful foliage is doing well. And then with behind every rose, there is a clematis. I want to say this is Pernille. I'll figure it out and put it up on the screen for you. But all three of these trellises have the same clematis going across. Of course, got those from our friends at Brushwood Nursery down in Georgia. They specialize in clematis. Highly, highly recommend, if you're looking for a clematis, go there. They are phenomenal. So yeah, so the clematis are back there, beautiful. And then coming on around, we got these babies in the ground as well. Super simple. I did not cover these petunias when I was laying down the Daddy Pete. One, because they're in those black pots. It is quite warm today. And I was noticing my other ones in the ground, just that little bit that they were under that black, they were starting to get a little limpy. Two, it was really easy to put the Daddy Pete in the back, in the holes here, and then I just brought it forward and scooched it around the petunias, and you can see that they're very, very happy and doing quite well. So that is my day's work here at the patio. Feels great to get these petunias in. Next on the list, probably back here, will be the Incredible doozy bed. So in right off the back side of the patio, of course, we have the Incredible hydrangeas right here, the double play doozies, and then the tulips. So these tulips are next to go. So we'll pull those out, and then where the tulips are is going to be more of that Mini Vista White. So this whole area is where Mini Vista White is. So we're going to fill in Mini Vista White here, and then of course this bed has not really been addressed at all. So other than I pruned my doozies and my Incredibles. So you see there's a couple of weeds in here. This is why tulips are an annual for us. If you can see that little sprig right here, those were tulips that did not get pulled up last year. No flowers on them, y'all. So we don't have consistently cold winters enough for tulips to come back. And so that's why they are annuals for us. So get all this cleaned up, and then I need to amend around my Incredibles. So I will use that Ultra Outdoor Planting Mix again, really top dress, get it nice and thick in there. They're gonna be happy. And then we will top dress this entire bed with Daddy Pete as well, because I want my beds to have that same consistent look with their mulch. And so that's what we're going to do. And as I'm sitting here panning, because remember we just finished this bed last week, I think it was, look at what is happening back here, y'all. Oh my goodness. First of all, this is a maidenhair ginkgo. Look at all this foliage. It has, like, literally, I did not notice this yesterday. So this has exploded out. Then of course, these are the Three Poets Wife, David Austin roses that we moved from up from the fountain back down here. Look at Stormcloud Amsonia. Oh, she's blooming, and it's called Stormcloud because it has that really dark, near black kind of stems and foliage on it. And then she's just started with those star blue flowers. So there's 3 in here, and then there's the other one right there. So it's doing really well. These tulips still look great. They were a little bit behind the others because they stay in the shade a little bit longer. We'll talk about this overachiever here in just a second. And then this is the Stormcloud that I moved. So that's why she's just a little bit behind. She got transplanted from where the doozies were up there, so she's just a bit behind. All right, let's address these very happy Ito peonies. So I have 3 Ito peonies back here. I do not remember which ones they are off the top of my head. But I use the peony cages more so to mark where the peonies are and to keep Brenna, the German Shepherd, from running through them. You can see that this one is super happy and might need a little help because it has been growing and just lifted its cage up off of the container. So these 3, man, they are just, like I said, super, super happy. The Vitex, remember we moved or transplanted and put in the Vitex. I'm trying to see if I see some growth. Look at this. Oh my goodness, sweet little things putting on some buds. Yes, there we go. Happy, happy. So very good. So this is the Rocksteady Vitex. Basically, it'll be a small tree. It's going to be nice and big for a shrub. Be like a little mini shrub. Excuse me, big shrub, mini tree right here. Yeah, so everything is coming along quite nicely. Thanks so much for hanging out in the garden with me today. It was a lot of fun. I feel very accomplished. Feels good to get some things checked off the list, and of course, planting summer annuals always makes me happy. If you have found this fun, informative, and inspirational, we would love it if you would like and subscribe to Garden with Creekside. That way you don't miss those 5 videos that we put out every week. Y'all have an amazing day. If you can get outside and enjoy some sun, do it. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.